You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
Well, guys, how many days has it been since the WNBA held their meeting where they were actually trying to define what is a woman? I believe this is like day number 2, and they have not figured out what is a woman. But a few years ago, they had no problem really defining what a woman is because they supported the trans invasion in sports. Just not their sport, the WNBA. They were celebrating these trans track field athletes dominating actual women. They had no problem with that. That is where the WNBA actually stood. But now the invasion is actually knocking on the door with them. All of a sudden now they're panicking. They need to have a meeting. They need to define what is a woman because these 2 NBA players want to actually play in WNBA. Now, in reality, guys, I do believe that Royce White and Enes Kanter Freedom are trying to make a point. And they're right. Let's just say it wasn't them actually trying to get into the WNBA. Let's say it was some G League player to say, you know what? I'm only making $40,000 playing in the G League. I'm probably not good enough to make it to the NBA, but there's no doubt about it. I'll be the best player in the WNBA, and they're paying $500,000 a year. Yeah, it's probably about time I actually put on that wig and start identifying as a woman for basketball purposes. Yeah, if enough G Leaguers actually did that, folks, the WNBA is cooked. They're cooked. But the WNBA, man, they open up this door. Cheryl Reeves out there wearing trans kids belong, but they don't actually belong in WNBA. You guys see where it's going, right? Gabby Williams, same thing. I welcome a trans player. I don't mind playing against one. Well, you have a golden opportunity to put your money where your mouth is. Now, this actually leads us to Sam Ponder. Formerly of ESPN, she was a reporter for ESPN. And a few years back, she actually spoke out against the trans invasion in female sports. And actually, guys, there was actually quite a few people at ESPN at that time, including Sage Steele. They didn't like the trans invasion happening. They didn't like it whatsoever. Sam Ponder came out, vocalized her non-support for the trans invasion in female sports. And a few weeks later, she was let go. Now, ESPN said it was really because of salary purposes. Okay? Anyway, she finally made a post, guys, because I just realized she hadn't made a post on social media in almost a year. And there's a reason why. Because reporters came to her house, started filming her kids because she spoke out against the trans invasion in sports. But now that the WNBA has this, I guess you can call it anti-hate task force. Yeah, this is just crazy. Even the NBA doesn't have something like that. This just tells you how woke and crazy the WNBA is. She came out and she put the WNBA on blast, saying they should actually be courageous and stand up for women. But we know the WNBA, they can't do that because they're going to upset leftists that support the trans invasion. So WNBA is between a rock and a hard place. This is why this league is not serious, folks. It's not a serious league. But let's go ahead and dive into what Sam Ponder had to say. Here we go. So right over here on X, she responds to this ESPN post from August 12th. So this is actually 2 days ago. So the meeting was actually on the 11th. The ESPN post was a WNBA task force of team presidents and general managers met Wednesday and discussed transgender athletes, but did not arrive at any eligibility rules, according to a statement sent to ESPN by a lead spokesperson. Yeah, they can't define a woman, folks. How crazy is that? The science is clear. But if they actually went by the science, then that would actually go against the agenda. But this is what Sam Ponder posted right here. She said, I stopped posting about 9 months ago when 2 men from the New York Post showed up at my house filming my daughter and me because I had the audacity to tweet that she shouldn't have to keep playing boys and girls. I'm assuming this is a basketball league here, a baseball league, one of them. They put an unemployed homeschool mom of 3 as the sole cover of the New York Post for something that is so elementary, fundamental, and obvious that it feels absolutely insane that we are still discussing this. Stop with the, quote, it's only a few argument. Since when is that a reason to not care about injustice and the truth? The WNBA should be courageous. Stand for women. You can't stand for something you can't even define. Acknowledge that the inherent differences between men and women were the whole reason we needed the WNBA in the first place. Boundaries, clarity, and exclusion are not hateful in sports. They're the prerequisite to playing and loving the game. Without the lines, without the rules, without the honesty about who's in and who's out, there is no fair competition. Well said there, Sam Ponder. Now, we know, guys, these sports leagues, they do discriminate. And it's not because they're hateful or anything like that. This is why you have things like the combine. They measure your height, your strength, how fast you are, because all that matters when it comes to the sport. So if you're too short, yeah, that's going to be a disadvantage on you. Teams probably don't want to draft you. Discrimination is perfectly okay in sports, but they're not discriminating because of your sexuality. They're not discriminating because of your race or anything like that. I mean, when it comes to these sports leagues, guys, the vast majority of these high-profile athletes in the major sports are black, especially when it comes to basketball and football. WNBA, the vast majority of these players are black, but they're still screaming victimhood, folks. Still screaming victimhood. Well, guess what? You're going to be a huge victim when an actual transgender invades your sport. But remember, you guys opened the door. Kathy Engelbert opened the door. The leadership of the WNBA is just too weak. You shouldn't even need a task force for this. We all know what a woman is. And a man identifying as a woman is not a woman. A man that comes out and says, yeah, I'm trans, that's not a woman. That's just a man in his mind. He thinks he's a woman, but it's not. And when it comes to sports, a woman can get severely hurt. Fallon Fox, anyone? Cracked the skull of a actual female boxer. Yeah, brutal. Peyton McNabb got a skull crush in volleyball by a transgender in high school. I think, especially, like at the high school and collegiate level, those people that actually allow that should be arrested. The person responsible for letting that transgender playing girls volleyball and that player ended up entering Peyton McNabb, that person should actually be in prison. Because Peyton McNabb got her career robbed from her because of injury. So what do you guys make of this here? Sam Ponder coming out and putting the WNBA on blast. Yeah, she's absolutely correct. But the WNBA is not going to stand with women. They're not going to do it. Really? They're probably just going to stand with men identifying as women. That's just my thoughts on this. What do you guys think of this? Black and white sports fans, let us know what you think about all this in the comments. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. And we'll catch you next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.